right, so welcome back to the Teen Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Crystal Victoria, and as I've been mentioning all night, y'all, we're on the countdown to celebrating 15 years of Target Evolution Inc. And part of the way that we're doing that is having our Where Are They Now episodes, celebrating previous Teen Biz Camp alumni who have completed our program, gone on, and are doing great things. And so this episode, we are super excited to have King Davis from 2017. I think you're 2017 alumni. He's so back, almost 10 years ago, y'all. And so a little bit about King. King is attending Grambling State University, y'all. He is a senior, so he's about to graduate, y'all. And he runs a DJ business. So he's still an entrepreneur. How cool is that? So today we're going to catch up with King, find out what he's got going on, and celebrate with him. King, welcome to the podcast. So glad for you to be here.
I'm glad to be here with an honor.
And I'm so excited to talk to you and catch up because I haven't got to talk to you, and your brother also participated, but actually to go a step further back in history with you, King, you were in one of our first commercial videos in was that like 2015, 2016?
Yeah, I think like 2015, 2016.
Yeah. So, and I also remember that you were a part of the group, the education
Yes.
and entertainment
Mhm.
show called STI 740,
Yeah.
which is how we originally connected. Y'all, they took me to my first basketball game, and I had we got box seats, like the press seats, and
Yes,
then we
ma'am.
got to go on the floor, and it was everything. It was everything. My first basketball game because of these guys, and the amazing things that you were doing back then in radio interviewing and podcasting. So you guys had a podcast before podcasting was hot. Talk to us a little bit about that time and what you learned.
So STI 740, that was it was like a sports commentary education show for kids. And that was something that I was a part of, me and my brother. We were younger, and it was like definitely monumental because like I always had like a knack for sports and like just sports commentary. So that helped expose me to being able to interview basketball players and just meet different entrepreneurs and put me in different rooms and meet different people such as yourself. And I remember when you came, I remember like you came to the meeting. We had to try out to be on the audition for your we had to audition to be on the commercial that you did. And you had like asked us different questions, put us on the spot. And that's just something I remember. But that was my first commercial. I never forget that we were at the $1 million house with the Corvette. That was my first time seeing a Corvette in like a mansion. Um, and like
Laughing. I'm sorry. I need to mute this. And I'm laughing so hard because that was the memory. That was the fun day, and I think it's one of those examples of how you guys. I make sure you guys have so much fun. Meanwhile, I'm stressed out behind the scenes.
yeah,
But you did such an amazing job. So that was your first commercial, huh? First time
yes,
seeing a
ma'am.
$1 million house and a Corvette.
Yes, yes.
My Lord, y'all look. So y'all wondering why we decided to go so hard in a commercial. Look, while these other programs are competing with other youth organizations and programs, I'm competing with the reality TV and the rap lifestyle and the Kardashians. Okay, so
Right.
we had to be flashy, right, to
Right.
make sure that kids thought entrepreneurship was fun.
It definitely worked. Like I don't know if you went to like different schools to talk, but like I definitely had people like, "Hey, I just saw like this video. You were in it. Like you were in the mansion." And stuff. Like yeah, but that was like the first stepping stone of us crossing paths with you, and then from then we did the summer camp, the teen business camp, like right after that, me and my brother, and that was amazing. Like that's definitely like one of the most. That's the only summer camp I ever been to my entire life. I never experienced anything like it. Like I always been exposed to entrepreneurship, like through my mom, through my dad, but on like an educational level, like you were teaching us stuff that like we're not getting taught in school, such as marketing, um, how to communicate, like how to give a pitch, and like Yeah.
You guys were in the first summer camp that we'd ever done, and it was 10 weeks. And the goal was for it to be unique, right? And just from that time, I had you guys do some very challenging activities,
Yeah.
right? And so, from you guys having to go downtown and find your own sponsors,
Yes.
they learned how to ride the dart trail, which is a funny story. But all of those little things, life skills,
He taught
life
us how to
skills. So talk
survive.
to us.
Taught us how to
Yeah,
survive.
so talk to us about the day that you guys had to do the litmus test,
Yeah.
which is what it's called, the litmus test. And you had to go out and pitch and find your own sponsors to cover your program. There was a lot going on that day, but what was your experience? How did that make you feel? And what
Okay.
was some of the challenges?
So for me, like out of all the things that I do, as far as like I've been rapping since I was 9 years old, sports commentary, all that. Like, but like me solely, I'm very like introverted, kind of like to myself. So like that definitely forced me to get out my comfort zone to go talk to people. And because like if you have a business idea, like you have to sit and talk in front of investors and get capital. Like you have to talk in front of people. So like that definitely being in downtown at that, like with everything going on, I remember being in the dark and just not getting in my head, like not allowing myself to freeze up. Like, okay, you have to go talk to these people. You need sponsorship. So just be confident, say what you need to say, and get to the point. And like that definitely got me out my comfort zone for sure. That was fun. Like I always remember that. Like just being in
Yeah,
downtown as a kid, just walking around.
and it's funny because I remember us having so much pushback about it because there was a few people who was like, Crystal, you're crazy. We're not doing that. I'm like, no, we're doing this. We're
Yeah.
doing this. And it's funny because putting you guys in the environment to do something like that is what made me so comfortable putting you guys in a retail store. And not just any stores and not just any malls. I put Youth Now in the top shopping malls in Texas, right? And you guys got a little experience because I think we went to Irving Mall and
Yes.
did,
Oh yeah, the pitch. We
some,
did a pitch in
right.
Irving.
Yeah. So y'all practice pitching in Irving Mall with different business owners. And, for those that are watching, again, all of these unique experiences that youth have gone through, are real world, these are real world, real life experiences.
Yeah,
You can't teach anybody entrepreneurship in a classroom, right?
definitely.
Especially not to be a good entrepreneur. You can
Right.
teach it, but the character development behind it, you can't teach that in a classroom. You've got to put people and young people in an environment that makes
Yeah.
them grow and get it, right? So talk to us about your business idea back then, King, and how you approached to selling and presenting it.
Uh, so my business idea back then, I believe, was like it was like a beat website. I believe like I was just that was like when I was first getting into developing music on my own, like first getting into DJing. That was at the same time, like I think like the summer before that, the summer after that, I just spent like the whole summer, the entire summer just working on how to DJ. So like yeah, I wanted to make a beat. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't like structured. I never like actually like put together that business for selling beats, but it still got me in the mindset, okay, this is what needs to be done. You have to have a logo, your branding, um, you you have to get patents and things like that. So definitely like um planted the seed at a young age, like when I was like 14, 15. So when I got older, like 18, I started DJing professionally, and all the lessons that I learned from being in the business camp, like I just remembered those. I'm like, okay, I need to get an LLC and go ahead and add structure to it. So I made right now I have a LLC, King of DJing, um, and I DJ like any events, like baby showers, family reunions, parties. Like I go to, like I said, I'm a senior at Grambling State University, so I do like a lot of student union events, athletic events like for baseball, softball, and just like different corporate things. Like I want to be global. I just don't want to like just be a DJ for parties or just to for a good time. I want to do like Fortune 500 companies. So like that's why I went to add the LLC to it.
Okay, awesome. I'm so proud of you. And more or less that you're still using your skills. And I had this conversation with one of your classmates. I'm not going to say which one. Your people just have to find out when we do her interview. But, and I think that I have to say this and I'll share it with you that for me, the goal for us once you complete isn't necessarily to stick with and just be, an entrepreneur unless you want to. The goal for us is to one, make sure you're happy. We want to make sure you're happy and that you have options in life.
Right.
But also that you understand multiple streams of income so that you don't make some horrendous mistakes that land you in jail or on the streets or something else you ruin your
Yeah.
life with. And as long as that's the case, what you do with those entrepreneurship skills after you leave Teen Biz Camp is up to you. If you decide to run a business, great. But if you don't, you may find that you apply those skills in multiple different areas in your life.
I
And
think for
I'm proud
sure.
of all of it. You
For
know,
sure.
no matter what you guys do, I'm always so proud of you and the decisions you make. Again, you're above the dirt. Okay, you're not behind bars, and even if
Yeah.
you were, I'd have a little piece of understanding because Miss Crystal was about that life once upon a time. So a
Yeah.
little gangster, but there's a way to avoid all of that, right? And it's by knowing what you know now. So let's talk to us about what you know now, and talk to me about. Give me 2 to 3 skills that you learned back then that you still use today and you really, really understand the why and can share why it's important.
Um, First skill I would say is communication, definitely. Um, Even if you're not an entrepreneur, like I feel like you said, like the goal wasn't just to go to the camp and become an entrepreneur. And I feel like communication, like you taught us how to, you still have to convey an idea. Like you have an idea in your head. If you're working at a job and you want to get a raise, you still have to negotiate to your boss. So like I feel like that was the main thing. It's been a lot of time I've been in situations where I had to like handle my business, whether it was uh somebody told me something and I had to circle back with them and make sure, that what they said was true or just follow up with people. So communication and another one would be I remember another one that sticks with me is like marketing. Like it was this one class you gave us. I forgot who came to us, but like they broke down like the different colors that companies use and like the different meanings that they have. And like while they use them, like the color red is powerful, like orange. A
Yes.
lot of the electric companies use blue. So like I remember like after that, like I always like drive past and like see different logos. Like I immediately like think, okay, that like that's why they do that. Oh, the IHOP logo is a face actually. Like so I say like those are some things that stuck with me. I like that still apply.
That's cool. So I'm glad you remember that lesson. Yeah, that's actually color psychology in
Yes.
sales.
Mhm.
And a lot of people when they're picking out colors or designing their logo and their business, they're not thinking about the psychology, but the psychology of your logo, what it looks like and the color of it determines whether people will buy and what people's impression of it is, right? And I'm glad that you learned that. I'm glad that stuck with you. That's, one of our favorite lessons to teach. And yeah, I was a graphic designer that came in
Yeah.
that day and taught y'all that lesson when you're doing your logo. So let's talk about the way that you think about money, independence, and success. Like, how has the way that you define those things, again, money, independence, and success, changed or evolved over the years?
Well, this is a thought that I have a lot of times every day. But I feel like success to me, it's not materialistic. Like I'm not gonna lie, it is. I do want the finer things in life. Like I do want to like live comfortably and but like my perspective of money is just having the freedom. I think financial freedom and just being able to do what you want to do, whether it's invest or just have like that leisure, not feel contained. I think like that's success and just being happy. Like you could have all the materialistic things and like you could still feel like like depressed, and so I feel like money, it's a tool. Like that's my perspective on money. It's a tool. Like I think there is a truth when people say like the root of evil is money, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of good can be using money. Like a lot of good things. Like it's really what you make it, honestly. And I feel like who you are now, like you get money, that's just gonna like exemplify your character, who you are now. So like whatever you're into now, whatever your vices are now, like it's just gonna exemplify when you have money. So if like you're a giving person now, if you have like the right intentions, you know, feel like you just use it as a tool to navigate to your purpose.
Awesome. And you're right. Money does reveal you. It
Hmm.
reveals you, right? It doesn't change you. It just whoever you really are is coming out when you end up with a lot of it. It's usually two times it comes out, when you're really broke and when you're really rich. Who you really
Right.
are kind of shows, right? Although, being in stressful situations sometimes can even provoke, more challenging character out of us than, we really are, truly are, kind of, necessity is the mother of invention kind of thing. But more or less, happiness, feeling like you're in alignment with purpose, like you're doing something worthwhile and that's true to yourself, all of those are great things. And I'm so glad that you learned those lessons, because, and I'm going to make this connection. And I think that it's interesting because, I got pushed back for wanting to get y'all in $1 million house with a new Corvette outside. Every time I do something, I want to do something innovative, I got pushed back. But I told people, look, I did it. The goal wasn't for you guys to want those things. It was the draw in. It's the thing that make you say, oh, what's this, at an age before you know better. Right.
Yeah.
And now that you're looking, now we got you locked in. Now we can teach you the right way. But if we
Exactly.
never get your attention, right, with something that you might like or might think you want, then we really can't guide you right. And so by exposing you guys to those opportunities and that lifestyle, when it does happen, you're less excited about it. You're like, oh, I've done this, I've experienced this, I know what this feels like, right?
Exactly.
And it makes you a little wiser in the experiences that you choose. So, I'm glad that your definition of success wasn't tied to, like, big houses and big cars,
And
because again,
to
some people mistakenly think that's what it is.
not to cut you off, but like to pick up what you said, like I feel like you exposing us to the big house in the Corvette, like that was like a lot of like a lot of the kids, speaking for myself too, but like I can't speak for everybody else, but a lot of the people that was in the camps, like they never seen that, or if they did, like you know you see like people who got to that level like illegitimately, like selling drugs or like doing like scamming or whatnot. So like to see that, okay, it could be done like by like legit, like using my mind the right way. So like it definitely showed, okay, it's more than one way to skin a cat. It's the right way to do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, was there a failure or a setback, in your experience, that you'd like to share that taught you something important?
A lot of failures, a lot of setbacks. Let me
Only one
think.
that you want to share. I just want you to
Okay.
feel comfortable doing so. I don't want you to embarrass yourself.
I want to even say failure really, because like I feel like everything is about timing. I'll say like setback would be just me not like me kind of like just holding myself back in a lot of situations, or just like thinking kind of like I don't want to say like afraid of my own success, but just like afraid to like put myself out there. Like, okay, I know I'm talented, I know I have this and that, but like I don't really want to. I'm kind of nervous. I'm scared. I'm fearful of what people would think if I put myself out there and be vulnerable with the world. So I feel like that was really holding me back. But now, it's been like I could say like it's been 10 years since I worked on my craft, since I worked on my music, since I developed my entrepreneurship. So I feel like now it's coming back full circle. I'm more mature now, so um, I guess like it was a setback, but it kind of propelled me a little bit too.
Good. And I love how you strategically reframed that, mentally. You're like, well, I wouldn't consider it as a failure. It was, a setback or, a lesson. You found the lesson in it. And usually when you can find the lessons in life and those things that are happening, that seem to be happening to us instead of for us, okay, we can get caught up in the feelings and the emotions around it, and we stop looking and understand that there's really a lesson here. There's really a lesson that we can be learned, and finding a way for us to draw that out and build upon it. And you're right. You are 10 years in. I also love that you said something that was really deep, but also really vulnerable. And you spoke to vulnerability, about having a fear about being vulnerable with the world.
Right.
And I love that you shared that because that is such a hard thing for people to say, especially at your age, even to acknowledge that that's what's going on. A lot of times people aren't even able to grasp that as a concept. They really, really think that there's a proverbial monster that they need to be afraid of. And they have literally convinced themselves that it's not their own demons. It's not their own inner thinking.
That's me
It's
versus
something
me.
outside.
Me versus me. You can't conquer the world unless you conquer yourself first.
Yes. And so again, I'm so proud of you for being able to articulate that, in a way that was so wise and well put together.
Thank you.
So great job. That lets me know that it's not just something that you're saying. It lets me know that that's a lesson that's been really deeply internalized. You get it. And I love that for you. So now let's talk about the transition to college. So when you got to college, what advantages did you notice that you had compared to the other students because of your entrepreneurship experience and your background?
Okay, so side note on like how I got to college. So I graduated in 2020, right when COVID started, and I was a junior. I was a junior when COVID started, and then summertime came, and I decided I just wanted to finish my senior year online. So I finished my senior year in 1 month, and then I took like a year off, just like working, like still kind of like deciding if I wanted to go to school or not. And I was taking like credits, um, just in case I wanted to go to school. Like I'll have something to transfer, so just wasn't sitting wasting time. But I ended up sending my application to Grambling 3 weeks into the school year. Like they had already started, so like I'm like thinking like, dang, I have to wait till next semester. But they ended up sending me an email like the day after and said, "Hey, you could go ahead and come to school 3 weeks into the semester." So like, so I had 3 days to like get all my stuff ready and go to Grambling. And I moved around a lot. Like I've been to 10 different schools, like I told you earlier. So like me having, okay, you have 3 days to go to another state. It wasn't like, oh, I'm freaking out. I had to. Oh my gosh, I wasn't scared. I definitely had like a high risk tolerance. So, well, to answer your question, I feel like that was like the best thing that I realized, like going to college. Like I have a high risk tolerance. From Dallas, I came to Grambling, like not knowing what Grambling was, and it's like a smaller city. So definitely smaller town. It's not. Well, it's technically a city, but it's like a real rural town. It was definitely like an adjustment coming to Grambling.
So talk to me about how entrepreneurship has like influenced your choice of your major, like your story of getting to school and how you got there. I didn't even know, like, obviously that you didn't
Yeah.
choose to go to college your first year. And what's interesting is I love that you made that decision to take a gap year, what it's essentially called. Because I actually have another student, that I need to connect you with that is considering doing the same. And, all too often people think you need to just go to school and figure it out. But why go and pile on debt and you're not sure what you want to do yet? So, how has entrepreneurship influenced your major, this decision, and how you decided when to go to school? How did entrepreneurship influence that decision?
100%.
And how, if you don't mind answering?
Well, I major in computer information systems, which is in the School of Business. And what made me want to major that was 100% um thinking entrepreneurial. like with technology and just seeing like how the world is evolving with AI and just computers in general. Like that's something that I know is always going to be here. I'm interested in computers. Pretty computer savvy. I feel like so. I thought that was something that I don't like school. Like that was the reason I didn't want to go to college and say that straight up. I never liked school. Like I was always good in school, but like I was like, why are y'all teaching me stuff that like we should be learning taxes? We should be learning the stuff that you were teaching us in school. So like, it just wasn't interesting to me. So like I took a gap year to like decide and like figure out um what I did want to major in because I didn't want to major in something that I would want to develop a career in, and like you said, I'm just stacking on debt and wasting time essentially. So while I was doing that gap year, my uncle he does like he works anti money laundering like with banks and stuff. So like I was like working with him on like an intern level, just okay, like this is like something I'm interested in, like but seeing like all the people and like he was like telling me, okay, like I'm in this position, but if you go to school, like you will be able to get further than me, like it would just open up more opportunities. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm a major with computers.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, definitely entrepreneurial and just
Very,
going straight with it. Go ahead.
well, very cool. Very cool. So do you see yourself as an entrepreneur long term, or how's your vision evolved a little bit? Are you thinking something else
Um,
about it?
I feel like entrepreneurship is just something that's in me. Like it's not something that I could just like hang up the jersey. Even DJing, like I feel like DJ is like the main source of entrepreneurship that I'm in now, but I don't always see myself just DJing. Like I want to be a business owner. I want to have real estate. I want to do be a serial entrepreneur. I don't want to just have one lane. Like this is just like a stepping stone, and it's fun. Like I love DJing. Like I'm always gonna know how to do it. If I'm like 40 years old and somebody asks me, "Hey, King, do you want to come DJ my wedding? We'll pay." You. Yeah, I'll send you my invoice, and like so like, I feel like I'm always gonna be entrepreneurial.
You gonna be out here hustling. King is gonna hustle, y'all. He's gonna get some money. He's gonna be on his hustle. That's what he said. And I love that for you. And again, that's what I want. That's what I want to know. I love knowing that because I know that again, you'll always have options. You'll always look for opportunities. You'll always make good decisions as it relates to like staying out of trouble and that kind of thing. As long as you're thinking entrepreneurially and you're being creative and you understand that there's opportunities out here for you. So good. So, last question. We'll have a couple of minutes before we wrap up.
Okay.
And I have a couple. So what would you say to a student who is thinking about starting a business or that feels nervous and unsure? Like, what would you say to that teenager or that younger version of you?
Hmm, that's a good question. I would say trust the process. I'll say trust the process. Like enjoy the journey. Like don't worry about the destination. Like don't you're not gonna have it all together overnight. You're not gonna have it all together in a year. Like you have to go through the trial and error of like really. I feel okay. Wait, I feel like one of the things that I got from the camp, another tool was having grit. Like just having grit because with entrepreneurship, like it's a roller coaster ride. So like if you cannot weather the storm when you're not getting booked or when nobody's buying your product, are you gonna like just fold and give up, sit on your hands? Are you gonna okay, let me update my inventory, let me evolve, let me upgrade, let me change something. So I feel like don't give up. Like believe in yourself. Like yeah, like that's the main one. Like don't get out your head and like what I was saying earlier. Like don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to like display your art. I know a lot of talented people. Like as a DJ, like, I know a lot of talented rappers who just send me their songs. I'm like, dang, why am I the only one who gets to hear this? Why don't you put this on Apple Music? Why don't you put this on Spotify for everybody to hear it? So I feel like it's a lot of talent that goes to waste if you just get stagnant in your head. So just get out your head. Just do it.
Get out your
Just do
head
it.
and just do it.
Like
Go
make
do
that
it. I
video,
know that.
post that content. Like even if 5 people see it, one person sees it, you're still like building your portfolio. So like when you do blow up in the future, people could come back and see where you started and can see the journey. As well.
Absolutely. King, I'm so proud of you. Once again, for the 100th time, I will never get tired of saying that. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to catch up with your brother Sovereign too. Sovereign will be on this show, y'all,
Yes,
too. So
most
if y'all
definitely.
remember Sovereign with his funny self,
Most
with his
definitely.
funny self. I mean, kid was a comedian, probably still is. He's still funny, isn't he?
Yes, hilarious.
I know he is. But guys, thank you guys for tuning in today with King Davis on the Teen Biz Podcast, learning about entrepreneurship. And y'all stay tuned. Next week, we've got another exciting episode coming up. And thank you for watching.